was a disaster. It started out great, but then right around, I shouldn't say disaster. Disaster is too strong a word. Started out great, went to bed normal time, but my kid woke me up the youngest one woke me up at like 3:15. And so that's just the right time to, be woken up, know that you have time left to sleep, but have slept enough to no longer be tired. So I kind of just laid in bed for the last hour and a half of the night. Ugh, missed that hour and a half. What are you gonna do? So, 111th stanza. I guess I'll just read it. Start from there. So the 111th stanza. When you bow deeply to the universe, it bows back. When you call out the name of God, it echoes inside of you. And so the title I created for today was Participating with the Echoes of God. And I kind of just want to build off of what came up for me yesterday. So one of the things that has become more accessible to my reasoned mind are the layers that make up my human experience. And as I armor down, and we go from first bell is the outer world that is I'm connected with my senses. I settle that. The second bell is getting into the body, so I'm settling that. Third bell is kind of interacting with what shows up inside the body and then what's outside. And kind of when you go through bell 1 and 2, there's the opportunity to participate with whatever's there inside energetically. So participate with that. And all that's to get to fourth bell. And fourth bell is meant to kind of reflect this divine essence that sits inside of everyone. And that essence, that core, that soul, that whatever you want to call it, it is by its own kind of self, just heat and light. I think he talks about that in some other stanzas, that what this place is heat and light. And what we give it as human beings is we give it language, we give it body language, we give it emotion, we give it action, and we give it temporariness. We give it a sense of time. And so anyway, if I'm doing that, then everyone's doing that. We all have this aspect to ourselves. Now, there are of course different ways of explaining what that aspect is, where it comes from, et cetera, but it's in all of us. And what happens is when we interact with each other, when we interact with ourselves, we kind of turn that heat and light up, or we kind of like smash it down. And what these little balls of divinity, right? That's literally how I imagine it. I imagine it as like this. I kind of think of it as this shape. So it's like in my mind. So when I was practicing yesterday, in my mind it was like when I was practicing gratitude and compassion, it felt like the heat and light had like a flat bottom and a rounded top, and it felt like when I was working on gratitude and compassion, it just felt like it was radiating. And that's as much as my imagination as it is what it was actually doing, kind of inside me. But what I want to point out is it's always interacting. It's always, 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 always interacting. So here's where I'm getting to. Yesterday, towards the end of the day, both children started kind of melting down. And so that little spark, or the divine essence, or, you know, the pulse of God, whatever you want to call it, soul, it's in them too, right? So they're losing it. All right. And at each moment, my insides had the opportunity to kind of like put out that heat and light in a particular way. And so as my children are melting down, there was the opportunity to, here we go again. Damn it, children, quiet down. This is the way it's supposed to be. There was opportunity for that. There was also the opportunity of, oh, it's okay. Come here, baby. Come here. It's all right. It's okay. It's okay. It's all right. There was the opportunity for that. There was the opportunity to just hold the space real quiet and just be kind of just a well of emptiness, right? So it's a space of, you can bring whatever you need to, you can put whatever you need into me, and it's just going to be empty. Nothing you can do can fill it up, so that I'll get angry. It's just empty it out. Quiet, 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 quiet. Calm, 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 calm. And so, in essence, these echoes, right? The echoes of the divine are us, right? We are God participating with each other. Not you are God, but we are God participating with each other. It's all of these, all of all of these souls, all of these sparks, all of these essences, all of these, whatever you want to call them, are just constantly interacting with each other. And it's not just at the level of like language or intellect. It's at the level of kind of energy, of kind of spirit. It's at a deeper level, and our bodies retain it. So our bodies kind of build off of that base, and they build in memories, and they build in patterns, and they build in habits. So like, what you're interacting with someone who's got trauma, you're interacting with kind of the echo of what their divine essence is kind of doing through all their armor, right? So it's like this light and the heat. It's got to get out, or it's got to move, right? But the way it moves, it is either based off of something you're consciously doing, like you're consciously practicing, you're aware of it, or it's totally unconscious, and you're without awareness of it. You are mindless of the way this part of you is being expressed. And so it's coming out in all kinds of maladapted kind of ways. And we are interacting with that. And so in my understanding of this stanza, when we acknowledge the divine in someone else, the divine bows back to us. At the very least, we aren't adding to someone's armor. At the very least, we're not triggering their patterns of protection and survival, at the very least. But at the very best, our echo, right? What kind of comes out of us can be kind of picked up by someone else in a really positive way. And I'll finish with this. So that was what happened with the girls up until the very end, when it was time to go to bed. That's what happened with the girls, is they were pushing their sadness or their upset or their tired or their fatigue into my wife and I. My wife and I had the opportunity to just really get frustrated, but instead we just kept kind of holding the space for them. So no matter what they came out, we just met them with love and kindness. And it was it was love and kindness. It wasn't, I mean, it's our love and kindness, right? But, without this, part, without this piece that kind of sits at the base of us or at the essence of us, there wouldn't be anything to interact with. It's kind of like, it kind of like be, it's kind of like God without the universe. God without the universe is just an infinite being. God with the universe is God experiencing God's self. And so there's this need for this relationship, because without it, without the reflection, there wouldn't be this awareness, you know? And so I'll leave it at that. We'll get into the training. The part that's so interesting for me is that this spot is showing up as a actual spot. Like I'm very much aware now of the layers of what make up Ben, or what make up the body, the mind, and the spirit of Ben. I'm very aware of those layers. And I'm now also very aware of when those layers are really quiet. And so that's just really fascinating. So I'm actually pretty excited to get to fourth bell today, just to kind of, you know, echo the divine within me into the world, send very consciously sending out the light and the heat in the form of gratitude and compassion. And today in particular is a big day. I'm going to Arlington to participate in the burial of my friend Andy McCaffrey. So, I want to kind of practice kind of bringing that space to the forefront of my awareness. So, all right, get yourself squared away. Follow your cues. Let's go bell one. First thing I notice is a dump truck. It's reversing. You can hear that beep, 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 beep. Eyes are kind of heavy, so I'm going to shut them down. A lot of saliva in the mouth. Heat from the space heater. A lot of what's showing up in my attention field is just this cold sore on my bottom left lip. I can feel it kind of pushing. How much smell? Noticing the quiet in the room. The quiet and spaciousness of my mind feels vast. Let's go to second bell. Notice the ground. Pelvis. Core. Heart space. Throat. top of the head. I've got a super sharp itch on my right chin. It's like one of those points of like, oh, I just want to itch so bad. It's very sharp, kind of moving up a little bit. It's fading slightly. I left my present moment and went into my imagination about a letter that I need to write. So I lost some time there. It's interesting that the kind of the itch, the desire to itch, instead of itching and staying with the itch, I went somewhere else in my imagination to remove myself from the experience of the need to itch. And then I went ahead and itched, and now there's other areas of my face that want me to itch. So there's right side of my jaw and even up above my right ear. The face feels light, like there's a little smile on there. Noticing again the pull of the core, I often am pulling down. There's this compression that's often taking place in what I think is the psoas muscles. Often we're having to release them. Back to mostly quiet. Let's go third bell. Max out breath. Let it go. There's nothing really for me to interact with at the moment. I feel quiet on the inside. I'll just sit for a minute. Let's go to fourth bell. So I'm focusing on the area of my heart. When I thought about gratitude, the first image I had is of Liliana with her hot chocolate smile. Allegra and Liliana yesterday eating all the sugar cereal that Alina brought home as a surprise. Having the fire all day yesterday, the cold and the rain, everyone all snuggled up in the living room on their screens. Chopping wood, the fireplace. Just so grateful for just this life I have. I'm just so grateful for everything. I'm grateful for the neighborhood, friends in the neighborhood, the people looking out for each other, the Powderhand Mindfulness Group. I'm going to shift my focus to compassion. In my mind, I want to reach out to all the dads out there that are doing the best they can to be the best dads they can be, trying to deal with all the challenges of life, parenting, trying to be a good person, especially for all the dads out there that are kind of in the system in some form or fashion, whether it be through divorce or some kind of domestic issue, prison, all the dads out there that are kind of really having to work uphill. I mean, maybe it's their fault, maybe it's not their fault. Nonetheless, they're having to kind of meet all these different criteria, do all these different things, all to kind of get back to zero. And so I send my heart out to all those folks. Just hope you find, the patience to keep moving forward, to keep following the echoes, and to, don't give up, don't get frustrated, keep moving forward, keep moving forward. And with that, I'll finish up with 2 breaths and conscious exhale to finish the practice. And that's how it works. Start the day tapping into a little bit of the best version of yourself. It's neat. What's neat is how I'm trusting the insight. So I get quiet on 4th bell, and it's like these images that just pop into my head, and I just follow them. The echoes, right? They just pop in, just follow them. So when you bow deeply to the universe, it bows back. When you call out the name of God, it echoes inside of you. 3 stanzas to go. All right, Armor Down. See you tomorrow.